that I bought from Tesco's, and I was trying to work those shoes in. They were really uncomfortable, and they were giving me blisters and that sort of stuff, and I just couldn't actually sort of work those shoes in. And I got to the senior minister's house, and we went through the front door, and I took my shoes off and left them at the front door, went in, and we had a great afternoon. And Dave Sheeran prayed over us and prophesied over us, and we went away so encouraged. But what was even better than that is that when I put my shoes on and walked out the house, I'd broken them in. They were comfortable. And for the next 3 days, during the week of prayer, morning, lunchtime and evening, I wore those shoes and really enjoyed them. They were absolutely brilliant. And then on the Wednesday, before the evening prayer meeting, Pastor Ken, who's the senior minister, he rang me up. And he said, "Listen, Peter, you haven't taken or hidden Dave Shearman's shoes, have you?" And I said, "Ken, there's no way I'd do that." He said, "You're not playing a joke." I said, "No, there is no way I would ever do that." And I put the phone down, and the penny dropped. And I remember picking up those shoes and going to my wife Teresa and saying, "Please tell me these are my shoes." She took one look at them and said, "No, they're Italian leather. They're certainly not Tesco's." And I had to take those shoes back and knock on Pastor Ken's door and say, "I'm really sorry, but I think these are Dave Shearman's shoes." That was my most embarrassing moment. I tell that story simply for this reason. In the story of the prodigal son, you will know when the son returns home, the father gives him three things. He gives him a robe, forgiveness. He gives him a ring, restoration of his position. And he gives him shoes. And apparently there are two Greek words for shoes in the New Testament. One is just everyday shoes, sandals that you put on. Another one is extravagant shoes. Dave Shearman's Italian leather shoes. Those are the shoes the Father gave to the Son. Not the everyday shoes, but the best shoes. And friends, I just want to say to you, and to those that are graduating, those that are being inducted, we serve an extravagant God, especially when it comes to reaching out to our communities, especially when it comes to reaching out to the lost. The prodigal son was lost. He came home, and the Father was extravagant with him. We serve an extravagant God. And I just want to encourage you, remember that as you plant churches, lead alpha courses, do all the things that God has called you to do in reaching your communities. Remember, God is an extravagant God who loves you, and what you're doing, is at the heart of the Father. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Peter Lineker is the senior pastor of church here in Trinity, yes. And his prayers and support has been enormous during the year. So thank you very much to you and also to the church of Trinity Church. So would you just put your hands together to Trinity Church? Thank you.
Just to say, it's an absolute privilege to be here today, and I'm always humbled when you take a second thought that Daniel here talks in terms of our country and the development of God here, and you have to do a double think that actually, obviously he's from Korea, but it's a humbling experience that you have brought to us as far as we're concerned, and we're privileged to be able to be involved with the Amnos School. There's just one verse I just want to refer to, and that is this. I don't think Moses' parents realized that they would end up being listed in the New Testament. And in Hebrews 11:23 it says, "By faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months by his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment." It's good not to be afraid of the pessimism prevalent in this country and in Europe. The commandment of the king to all of us is to fulfill his purposes. And I'm really thrilled to witness what we've heard already today. It's as if Pastor Kim and Daniel and the trustees of Amnos have, irrespective of what's going on around us, they've had faith that what has come forth will in due time bear fruit, more and more fruit, for the benefit of God's kingdom. And my word of encouragement, I notice it says that in the program there. We're in this for the long term, and the long term is already established in God's eyes. And as we humbly take step by step what he wants us to do, and Daniel and Pastor Kim and their wives are an example of this, and the trustees of Amnos are an example of this, so it is that God will glorify his name. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. And before the choir sings and the Rev Canon Goerge come to preach, how about we all stand and have a 1 minute, just meeting the friends around you, say hello, a bit of stretch, so we can concentrate better on the second part of the service. the preacher today for this very special occasion is Rev Canon Goerge Kavoor. He is the chaplain to the Queen, and also he is the principal of the Trinity College in Bristol. And that college is one of the largest colleges in Europe, and he has come to preach at one of the smallest, perhaps the smallest school in Europe. A great honor and joy to have you. George is one of our advisors, and together with the advisors and the trustees, we have 3 trustees all here today, and they are the ones actually who are backing us and who give us reputation and credibility as well. So it's great to have George in our midst, to have an proper Amnos badge here today. Thank you, George.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I must congratulate the trustees for standing behind Daniel and supporting him in this great vision for the re-evangelization of Britain and Europe. Brothers and sisters, it's a wonderful occasion. When I come to churches such as Trinity, I'm hugely encouraged. I'm hugely encouraged because I can see that churches have to learn from mistakes and move on and grow. As I have been living as a missionary to the pagan Brits for the last 25 years, it gives me no great satisfaction to say it, but it's a truth. And especially Caucasian leaders need to understand this, that this is a pagan nation and it's a pagan continent. And don't have any illusions that this is a Christian nation. Your leadership is not Christian. Your politicians are not Christians. Your businessmen are not Christians. And many of your church leaders don't know the scriptures. And that's something that we all need to recognize, because we're fools if we don't do that. A Christian is someone who is a student of Jesus, period. If you haven't chosen to be a student of Jesus, you're not a Christian. You can't be born into a Christian family and say you're a Christian. If that were true, if you were born in a chicken coop, you'd end up a chicken. You know? It's as simple as that. So don't ever make these stupid mistakes. If you were born in a Christian family, you had the opportunity to hear the gospel. You had the opportunity to see the Christian life being manifest. That's all. You have to make a choice. And you have to choose to humble yourself and say, I need help. You have to choose to say, this is a worthy role model, and I want to live under the tutelage of this master. I know what I'm talking. I'm born into an ancient Christian family. There are not many Christian families here who have a pedigree such as I have. I have 44 generations of pastors in my family. 44 generations. The Apostle Thomas came to India in 52 A.D., long before the Gospels came to these isles. I was educated in India. I was trained in India. I was ordained as a pastor in India. And I came to Britain just for a very short while. But looking at the winter in Europe,